Nobody wanted to care for the sick billionaire. Until the maid's toddler did what no one else would. Marcus Hale had everything. At 34 years old, he owned 3 luxury penthouses across New York City, a private jet, and a real estate empire worth $4.2 billion. His name was on buildings, his face on magazine covers. And yet, on a cold Tuesday morning in late October, Marcus sat alone in the massive bedroom of his Manhattan mansion, unable to get out of bed. It wasn't laziness or arrogance. It was multiple sclerosis. It had come like a thief in the night, stealing his strength. First, the tingling in his fingers. Then, the crushing fatigue. Finally, the bad days when his legs simply forgot how to work. When the diagnosis came, Marcus did the only thing he knew how to do to keep from breaking apart: he built a wall. He fired his old assistants and hired a professional household staff under strict rules. There would be no personal questions, no small talk, and absolutely no pity. His estate manager, Mrs. Calloway, ran the house with military efficiency. Most staff members lasted only a few weeks under Marcus's cold, bitter demeanor. The only one who stayed was Rosa Delgado. Rosa was 31, from a small town in Texas, carrying a quiet determination. She cleaned the East Wing every morning, moving like water, quiet, purposeful, and staying completely in her lane. To Marcus, she was invisible, which was the highest compliment he could pay an employee. What Marcus didn't know was that Rosa had a 3-year-old daughter named Lily. Lily had round, dark eyes, uneven pigtails, and a laugh like small bells. She was the reason Rosa took the bus to work in the rain and saved every penny. Lily's father had left before she was born. He wasn't a bad man, Rosa would tell herself, he just wasn't ready. So, Rosa became ready enough for both of them. One Tuesday morning, Lily's daycare unexpectedly closed due to a burst pipe. With no money for an emergency sitter and no backup options, Rosa had to make a desperate choice. She broke the rules and brought Lily to the mansion, planning to keep her hidden and quiet in the staff room. But Lily, being 3, had no interest in the plan. While exploring the endless hallways, Lily came across a door left slightly open. Through the crack, she saw a man lying in a giant bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. Lily had seen sadness before. Without hesitation, she pushed the door wide open. Marcus, who hadn't allowed an uninvited soul into his room for 8 months, looked up. A little girl was standing in his doorway. "You have a sad face," Lily said. It was the most honest thing anyone had said to him in a very long time. Marcus's first instinct was to press the call button and have her removed. But his hand stopped. Lily wasn't looking at him with pity, the kind that came with tilted heads and soft voices. She was just stating a fact. "I don't," Marcus said, his voice rough from days of silence. Lily's brow furrowed. "Your face says different." In 34 years of cutthroat business, people had called Marcus intimidating, brilliant, or ruthless. Nobody had ever simply looked at his face and told him what was written on it. "Where did you come from?" he asked. "The kitchen room," Lily replied confidently, taking a few steps inside. "You're not supposed to be in here," Marcus warned. "Mama says that too," Lily agreed, nodding seriously. "About lots of places." Despite the heavy weight in his chest, Marcus felt a tiny shift inside him. It wasn't happiness, but it was the memory of it. He asked her name, and she proudly held up 3 fingers, "Lily. I'm free." She wandered closer and noticed a framed photo on his nightstand, the only photo in the room. It showed a younger Marcus laughing on a beach, relaxed and healthy. "Who's that?" Lily asked. "Me," Marcus replied. She looked between the photo and the man in the bed. "You were happy." Marcus was silent. This silence didn't feel like his defensive fortress, it had a window in it. "I was younger," he said finally. Without asking, Lily climbed onto the large armchair by the window, folded her hands, and announced, "I'll sit with you." "So you're not alone." In a house where Marcus paid people to look away, a toddler had volunteered her company just because she saw a human being in need. Marcus didn't call security. They sat in silence as the gray October sky pressed against the glass. When Rosa finally found them, she froze in panic. Lily was in the chair, showing Marcus a small toy, and Marcus was actually listening. "Mr. Hale, I am so sorry," Rosa whispered, her voice trembling. Marcus looked up and said 4 words that changed everything: "Let her stay. Please." In the weeks that followed, the mansion transformed. The daycare reopened, but by then, Lily's presence had become the rhythm of the house. Marcus secretly ordered toys for her, the chef made her special treats, and even the stern Mrs. Calloway looked on with a rare smile. Lily called Marcus Marky. The first time she said it, Rosa panicked, but Marcus went completely still. It was the face of a man handed a priceless gift, wondering if he was allowed to keep it. Every morning at 9:30, Lily would knock 3 times with a tiny fist and bring him a present, sometimes a lopsided crayon drawing, sometimes a story about a flying frog. On a particularly brutal morning, Marcus sat tightly in bed, his legs entirely unresponsive and his mood dark. Lily walked in, assessed his rigid posture, and quietly climbed onto the bed beside him. She grabbed the TV remote with both hands and turned on a nature documentary about coral reefs. She showered him with questions. Why is that fish orange? Does the octopus have a family? Marcus, an Ivy League graduate, actually looked up the answers on his phone. The next day, he explained to her how mother octopuses guard their eggs for months without eating. Lily listened intently. "Like Mama," she whispered. Marcus looked at her softly. "Yeah. Just like Mama." Lily didn't cure his illness, but she changed the room. She asked him questions that stripped away his billionaire armor, like what his favorite color was. Marcus told her it was a specific shade of swimming pool blue from a safe, weightless childhood memory. Rosa watched from the edges, feeling a deep, complicated warmth. She had started to see the real man behind the wealth. She began bringing Marcus his morning coffee herself. One morning, as she set it down, Marcus spoke. "Thank you, Rosa." She paused. "You're welcome, Mr. Hale." "Marcus," he corrected gently, offering his name like a bridge. Rosa looked at him, feeling the walls crumble. "Marcus," she said. He exhaled slowly, as if releasing a breath he'd held for months. That afternoon, Marcus called his mother in Arizona for the first time in ages, laughing genuinely as he told her about a little girl who told him he had a sad face. By December, the ice in the mansion had completely melted. On a Thursday morning before Christmas, Lily marched in wearing a gold paper crown she'd made. Marcus was sitting in his armchair by the window, not in pajamas, but in real clothes. His wheelchair was folded away. It was a good day. When he saw Lily, he smiled a full, radiant smile. It was the man from the beach photograph, alive and happy. 3 days before Christmas, Marcus asked Rosa to sit down at his desk. She saw legal documents spread across the wood and felt a sudden wave of anxiety. Marcus looked at her, his eyes clear. "When I was diagnosed, I thought my life was over," he said openly. "I built a mausoleum to die in. And then your daughter walked in and told me the truth. And you looked at me like a human being, not a medical checklist." He pushed the documents forward. "This is a trust fund for Lily. It covers her education, healthcare, and housing, completely independent of your employment." Rosa's eyes filled with tears. "Marcus, I can't accept this. I earn my way." "You do, and you will," Marcus said, placing his warm hand over hers. "This isn't charity. This is me protecting the only people who reminded me that life is worth living. But there's a second document." He turned the page. It was a contract for a new position, Director of Household Operations and Philanthropy, coming with a major promotion and a full executive salary. "Mrs. Calloway is retiring in 2 years, and she recommended you," Marcus smiled hopefully. "But more than that, I don't want you cleaning the mansion anymore, Rosa. I want you working beside me. If you'll have me." Before Rosa could process the overwhelming joy, the door burst open. Lily marched in, her paper crown askew, and placed a smooth, round river stone right on top of the legal papers. "Marky! Look!" Lily cheered. "It's a small planet for your desk." Marcus laughed, a rich, full sound that echoed through the once silent house. He picked up the stone. "It's a perfect planet, Lily." "Thank you." Rosa wiped a tear from her cheek and looked at Marcus, her smile answering his. "I accept the position, Marcus," she whispered. Lily clapped her hands. "Now can we watch the fish show?" Marcus looked at Rosa, his eyes shining like the blue of a summer pool, full of safety and a brand new future. "Yes, Queen Lily," Marcus smiled, turning on the screen. "Let's watch the fish show." The winter snow fell outside, but inside, the mansion was no longer a cold fortress. It was finally a home.